Hey everyone, it's Last Protagonist. I've been meaning to make this video for a really long time, but I've been letting perfection get in the way of progress, so I hope you'll bear with me as this one's going to be a little bit rough and pretty pedantic. When we look at the Paladin set in Dark Souls 1, it says, "Long ago the Way of Light produced its first undead, a paladin in golden armor." Now, with the way this is written, it can make it sound as though the Way of Light is producing the undead, as in creating them, or it could potentially be read as saying that undead are produced into the Way of Light and they're not actively creating them. One of the issues with this is that the former reading that the Way of Light is creating the undead isn't compatible with the Japanese version of this text at all, and because of the way that English works, it's not always very clear whether a verb is being used transitively or intransitively, whereas that's not quite an issue in the Japanese. So when we look at the verb produced and its Japanese equivalent, umarata, we can tell from umarata being an intransitive verb that the Way of Light is not actively creating the undead. Now, for those who might not know or understand the differences between transitive and intransitive verbs very well, I'll give you guys an example to hopefully clarify some things. So, let's take the verb gather. In English, this could be either transitive or intransitive based on the context, but it wouldn't necessarily be that way in Japanese. So for example, if I were to tell you all to gather your things, that would be a transitive verb because it takes an agent to literally gather all of your items. However, if I were to say that people gather for a concert, there are no active agents to gather the people around, it's just kind of a spontaneous action, and therefore it would be an intransitive verb. Umarata is an intransitive verb, which means it doesn't have an agent, so the Way of Light is not actively producing the undead, they're just having undead be born amongst their ranks, which is where Leroy comes from essentially. I know many people believe that in the opening cinematic of Dark Souls 1 that the Firekeeper type girl praying over the corpse that has the dark sign could have been a Way of Light priestess creating the undead. I personally don't see things that way, and I know this has been a pervasive thought throughout the lore community for a very long time, which is why I wanted to make this video for a long time, but as I said, I was just kind of getting my own way because I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to be happy at how much this may disagree with their headcanon. So anyway, that'll be it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider doing all the kind YouTube algorithmic stuff like liking, subscribing, commenting. I'd appreciate that. And I also want to say thank you and give a special shout out to my patrons and channel members for helping keep me motivated to make these kinds of videos, even when they're as rough as this one. If this kind of format doesn't bother you guys too much, please let me know. I would love the feedback. Anyway, I'll stop rambling for now. So, that'll be it for me. Take care, stay safe, and remember, fear the old lore.